If you are looking to deal with WeBuyCars, either selling them a vehicle or buying a vehicle from them, well, I've done both, so you might want to watch this video up until the end. So what we are going to be discussing here is my thought processes when buying a vehicle, and then their selling process, and then also we're gonna be covering category A, category B vehicles, and also documentations that you need, and then we're also gonna be covering holding deposits and all that. So yeah guys, without much waste of your time, let's jump on to the first thing. So the first thing that we're going to be covering is how do you sell your vehicle to WeBuyCars. So basically there are two ways of doing it. You can do it online, or you can drive your vehicle to the particular WeBuyCars. Either you can go to the branch itself, or you can go to a car buying port. I know in some areas where there are no branches, they normally have like a car buying port where you can go there, and then they will evaluate your vehicle, and then if you agree, then you're good to go. So personally, I've used the online method whereby you fill in your application, you write all your vehicle details in terms of mileage, in terms of when was it made, and then if it has any defects or any thing wrong with the vehicle, like mechanically, then you just have to list everything, list as much as you can. So once you have done that, they will evaluate your vehicle, and it really doesn't take time. It's sort of like almost instant, and then once that is done, they will send you an offer that is obviously subject to them seeing the vehicle in person. So that's what I did on my side, and they valued my vehicle, they gave me an offer, I was okay with it, and then after 2 days we set up an appointment to say, okay, come after 2 days, and then they came through, and then they did a test drive of the vehicle for about 20 to 30 minutes. They were with the vehicle testing it out, and then they came back to me once that was done, and then they said, okay, we've noted quite a number of issues, this is what needs to be fixed, and that and that and that, so we are prepared to pay you this much. So obviously the money they offered me when they came, it was slightly less to what I was offered online, and then we had to negotiate, and then on the other side, I remember the guy from WeBuyCars, he said that he's got something like 2,000 rand to spare as well. So I negotiated with him, and then he ended up adding that 2,000 rand, and then I said, okay, cool, we can seal it off, and then I signed, and then I gave them my banking details, and then yeah, so we finalized. So literally guys, within 30 minutes I received my money in my bank account, and then the guy said, okay, confirm if the money has been in your is in your bank account, and then I confirmed, and then we shook our hands, and then he drove, and then he went off. I must say guys, it was quite a good experience, and also just having that comfort of knowing that, okay, you're dealing with professional people, and your money is actually gonna land in your bank. In terms of the value of the vehicle, I know that maybe I sold it privately, probably I would have gotten more, but also, you know, selling a vehicle privately, it comes with its own risks, you know, so you rather deal with people who are reputable, and instead of you trying to make that extra 5k on a vehicle, you might end up losing if you're dealing with crooks out there. And then the next thing that we are going to discuss is buying a vehicle from WeBuyCars. So I've done this like twice now. So the current vehicle that I'm using, I actually bought it from WeBuyCars. So normally my thought processes would be like this. Firstly, I would need to determine the budget that I want to spend. So if I am looking for a vehicle for 70,000 or 80,000, obviously when I go to their website, I would sort out according to the price of the vehicle, and then obviously I would also look at the type of vehicle that I'm looking for. Am I looking for a sedan or a hatchback? And then I select the one that I'm looking for. And then also if I am particular with brands, and then I would select it. I am a huge Ford fan, so yeah, I went with that brand. And then obviously you have to check category A, category B vehicles. Usually that would also be determined with the price. And then yeah, the next thing that you need to do, obviously you go through the Dekra report and all that of the vehicles, and then afterwards, in my case, I shortlisted like about 5 cars, two from one of the WeBuyCars in here in Gauteng, and then the other one was from another branch as well in Gauteng. So what I did was I went through to test drive all 5 of the vehicles. That was my intention. Unfortunately, I only managed to do only 4 because the other one, before I could test drive it, somebody was actually finalizing to buy the vehicle. But yeah, basically that is my process, because the other thing, guys, if you go there without a plan, you will be overwhelmed, especially if you go to the dome. For those of you who stay in Gauteng, you know there are more than 1,100 vehicles there. So for you to start deciding there and there, it's gonna take you long, and you won't really make maximum use of your time. So rather shortlist your vehicles, go there, test drive them, and check them out. So yeah, guys, that is my thought processes when I am buying a vehicle. Now I've got another question that is normally asked by people, like what are category A vehicles? So normally these are low mileage vehicles that have been better maintained. Normally you would also find they've got a full service history, and normally these vehicles, either they are from 2015 up to the most recent ones, but it all depends. You can even find a 2010 category A vehicle. What it simply means is these vehicles, they are better maintained, and if you buy them, you are likely to have less stress compared to somebody who is going to buy a category B vehicle. And on that note, a category B vehicle, it's a vehicle that needs a lot of your attention. You might have to fix quite a number of things on it before it is actually roadworthy, and also for your safety as well. So sometimes normally these vehicles, they are high mileage vehicles. Those are normally your category B vehicles, and also high performance vehicles. When you talk of your Ford Focuses, ST, you've got your Polo GTIs and all that, you know, your high performance vehicles, normally people will drive them accordingly. And then the next thing that we want to talk about is a question about if whether the Dekra report from WeBuyCars is reliable. Well, in my case, like I mentioned, that I've bought 2 vehicles, and in both cases they were reliable to some extent, and then to some, obviously they won't be able to list each and every single item that is wrong with the vehicle. But for me, I think they highlight the most important things. So for those of you who do not know, the Dekra report, it will cover your brake test, your tire specifications and measurements, and then it will also do a diagnostic report to show if there are any errors on your vehicle. And then they also do like a shock absorber test, and then they also provide you with photos of underneath the vehicle, which I think it is a very good thing. Because if you were to buy, I know especially in Gauteng, if you were to go in Joburg CBD and try and buy one of those vehicles, you might have a problem, like for you to inspect the vehicle thoroughly, because of the way they are parked, and no one really has the time to be going underneath each and every vehicle, you know. So it's better if you can see pictures. That's a good thing as well. And then moving on, the next question that we are answering is, can you finance a vehicle from WeBuyCars? So my understanding is that they work with all the banks. So if you walk into any dealership, normally you will see all the banks within that branch. So they normally work with all of them. And also remember, guys, if you are planning on applying for finance in SA or anywhere in the world, you need to have a good credit profile. So if you are blacklisted, probably you can get funding, but at a higher interest rate compared to somebody who is not. And then maybe if you do not qualify at all, and then maybe you can look at other options, maybe getting a personal loan with a high interest, and then you buy that vehicle, and then you sort yourself out with the bank. And then the other thing that we wanted to cover are the documents that you need. Just like any other application from any different dealership, you will need your proof of residence, you will need your 3 months bank statement, you will need also 3 pay slips as well, and then you also need your proof of identity. So if you If you are using an ID, you produce that, and then if you've got a passport, and then you produce that, and then you also need a copy of your driver's license that is valid. So those are the documents that you would need for you to apply for financing. And then the next thing that we're going to cover is, are there any additional charges that you're going to pay above the prices that you see? So when I bought my vehicle cash, on top of that fee that I paid, there was an additional administration fee. If I'm not mistaken, at the time, I think it was 1,500. So yeah, you just need to have that in mind. So I think that administration fee is obviously maybe deregistering the vehicle and getting the paperwork ready, so that maybe after, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can go back, or they can courier to you the vehicle's details, so that you can go and do your own change of ownership. And then for those going to buy via finance, I think there is a license and registration fee for about 2.2, which is VAT exclusive, and then there is also a delivery fee of 3.8 that you will also need to pay, in addition of the figures that you see there. So yeah, there are additional charges that you need to be aware of. And then the next question was, where do you find WeBuyCars? So if you go to their website, you will see all their branches from different provinces. I know they've got branches in Mpumalanga, in Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KZN, and Limpopo. And then so yeah, you just go there and find a branch. But if you are looking to sell, then perhaps there are more options, because obviously there are those car buying ports. Like for instance, I know in Emelo there is no branch there, but there is a car buying port where you can simply go there and you can sell your vehicle to them. And then the last question that we are going to cover is, can you reserve a vehicle at WeBuyCars? So they work strictly on a first come first serve basis. So if you are buying a category A vehicle, you've got 48 hours, and then if it's a category B vehicle, you've got 24 hours to reserve it. And then for category A cars, you need to pay a holding deposit of 5k for cars under 200,000 and 10k for cars above 200k. And then for category B, you need to pay 2.5 regardless of the value of the vehicle. So yeah guys, if this video was helpful in any way, please do hit that like button, so that it can also be shared with other people that are looking to buy or sell cars to WeBuyCars. Thank you for watching and for the support. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.
Perfect.